What you'll see from the group is a committed group. A group that when you watch play will both entertain you, but you'll be proud for how they're working for each other and working for the city of Chicago. I consider the Chicago Fire sleeping giants.
May is here. The weather's warming up, and honestly, I'm still trying to figure out if it's safe to put the winter coat away. What's up? I'm your host, Gabe Ramirez, and this is Inside the Fire, your look at what's happening on the pitch and behind the scenes with Chicago Fire FC. And we got a fun show lined up for you today. We're gonna follow the team as they look to lock in their first home victory of the season against Atlanta United. We'll also hear from the man who helped make it happen, goalkeeper Jeff Gall, who stepped in big for Chris Brady and made the most of his shot. Then we'll head to the Endeavor Health Performance Center to see who's keeping the fellas fueled. And lastly, we'll wrap things up in Queen City as the Fire look to kick off their 5-match road trip with a statement win in Charlotte. But first, the Fire had to handle business in the US Open Cup, a tournament they know well. Why? Because the fellas have lifted the trophy 4 times. And their first opponent is Detroit City FC. Now they're a USL side, but in the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup, anything can happen.
Here we go, Chicago in the red kits, it's the white kits for Detroit City, and it's great to have you with us to watch one of 11 matches on the docket tonight in the round of 32 of the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup.
Hey, think about this, right from the start, guys, we gotta play fast. Put the speed into the ball with your passes. We play with speed, we play with intensity, and then we go to the next round. 1, 2, 3, 5!
How about this takeaway? And Ugo Kuipers strikes 4 minutes in and puts the Fire out in front, 1-0. Haile Selassie shoots it in. Kuipers angles it around, and it's an own goal. On the redirects, Chicago adds a second and a 2-0 edge 10 minutes before halftime. It's a Chicago side that scores twice in the opening half. Here comes Bamba. Bamba on the full sprint, cuts to the middle of the field, lays it off. It is Blasco curling it around. Blasco opens his account with the Fire. The 21-year-old makes it 3 in the first 5 minutes of the second half. Gutierrez is here. It's over, and it is Haile Selassie finishing this one off. A 4th. A man that has 2 assists in this game gets a goal for his own to make it 4-0 for the Fire. There's your final whistle. It is a decisive, dominating, destructive effort from Chicago Fire against Detroit City. 4 goals to none. The victory for the 4-time US Open Cup champions, and on to the round of 16.
Really proud of the effort, but most important, the concentration and the focus today. Good job. We keep going through the week. Let's go, baby.
That's how you make a statement right there in the round of 32. Shout out to the Chicago Fire for the victory. And cool to see guys like Omari and Marin find the back of the net as well. And I think that was their 2nd match in just 5 days. It makes you wonder, right? Like, how do you bounce back so quick? How do you look so sharp? Well, I can assure you it's not granola bars and orange slices. You gotta have a plan, right? Somebody that knows your body exactly. So we head over to the Endeavor Health Performance Center where team dietitian Petra Rock shows us how the Fire stay fueled up and match day ready.
I've gotten some good feedback that they like when it's, when I fill it up with water first and then I put the protein stuff in, because it must mix better. My name is Petra Rock. I am the head dietitian at the Chicago Fire. What that encompasses is I oversee all of our nutrition. I do everything from one-on-one consultations, supplements, body composition analysis, plan all of our meals. I write the menus. I do menu meetings with our chefs here at the facility. There's just so many different pieces and not one day is the same. Welcome to my playground. This is my kitchen. Not my kitchen, it's our kitchen. Why don't we, because this one was tailored to have a harder training and then a harder training.
Right, so I can just move.
Why don't you Tuesday to Monday, Wednesday to Tuesday? Just because that way we kind of carbo load on Tuesday. We've got our Thursday grilled cheese so we don't have an uproar. So I got our chocolate protein and our vanilla protein, and then just a backup collagen for our joint tendon recovery. This is when the music usually helps. I just love creating those relationships with athletes and being able to help them get to where they want to be. And it's cool to work with an athlete that's just as passionate about nutrition that I am. In the end, they are a regular person, and I love having those connections and being able to like not only fuel their sport, but like fuel that they can go home and play with their kids after practice. In the future, when they're done playing soccer, they utilized something here that they can take there in their future and like use with their kids or just like live a fulfilling life.
Low-key, I always make protein shakes for my wife, but clearly I'm doing something wrong. All right, next up for the Fire is their third match in a week. This time it was against Atlanta United. So let's take a moment. Let's see how they prepared, what made their kits extra special, shout out to the Plays program, and if backup goalkeeper Jeff Gall could pick up the Fire's first home win in his first MLS start.
Here comes Bamba. Bamba on the full sprint. Cuts to the middle of the field. Lays it off. It is Glasgow hurling it around. Glasgow opens his account with the Fire. The 21-year-old makes it 3 in the first 5 minutes of the second half.
You know, we talked about it being a squad week. We're going to need everyone in the entire squad for this week, and that's a perfect example. You know, Amari's a guy who's resilient. You know, he fits in any position we put him in, and he works hard. And for him to get a goal, I think, is a great achievement.
Hello, Chicago Fire fans. Let's have to get my first goal for the club. Thank you for the fans for coming out. It's a pleasure, you know. I'm grateful for the win, but it's also a pleasure scoring the goal for the first team, my first one out of many. It was a transition moment, you know, and as a transition, we gotta sprint forward as fast as possible, and I put in the work, sprint forward, and Romy leave it for me. So I must say it was a good transition moment. Playing with the first team has been a dream I've been working since the first time I came to Chicago for this moment. You know, scoring goals for the first team, and I think the work has been showing. You know, it's paid off now. So just gotta keep going, and as a team, we're gonna keep going and try to get more results.
Hey, what is this?
Whoa, Brady's is also very good.
I saw he looked angry and I was like, yeah, that's me.
Bro, look at your hair.
Boy, you style it. At least he has good
hair, bro. Look at you.
I like the facial hair. I don't have much, so I'll take it.
They was pretty good too.
Yeah.
The braces. My favorite though has to be Greg's.
New goal. Oh, they did the hands.
Got my hair right now. I mean, all of them are great. That's just class.
Jeff's is good.
They're just missing the man bun.
Thank you.
Welcome to Chicago, Illinois for the Matchday 12 matinee to start things off with the Chicago Fire here on home side. Still looking for that first home win. Greg Berhalter will try and accomplish that today. Inside Soldier Field, gorgeous day, a little breezy, here to have some fun. Rahel Gutierrez, a penalty given, a handball, Moranchuk at the corner of the box. Ugo Kuipers, the man atop the Golden Boot race at the moment, and looks to give Chicago the opener. Ugo Kuipers to the top of the Golden Boot race. 8th of the season, 1-0 Fire. Philip Sinkernagel. Crafty play. Oh, 19-year-old Rahel! Stunner hit off the toe. Little swaz. Bamba smashing through. There's a rebound, and Gazan saves the day with Kuipers right on the welcome mat. Half comes to an end. Chicago with the lead, courtesy of the Kuipers goal from the spot. And they continued to push for the second. Gazan had a big save.
45 more minutes now. Make it a complete performance here. Let's go, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Let's have the same intensity for another 45. Let's go now. Let's go. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win.
Too aggressive on the dribble, and that popped the Moranchuk over for Almiron. Elliott, who's back on the field defending. Masterful job. Almiron back. Shaves it just past the far stick. 10 minutes remaining here at Soldier Field. Oh, ball in is headed in by Rogers, an own goal. The drought of scoring on the road ends for Atlanta, bookended by another own goal here in Chicago. Romy Kwame, who's come on for Chicago, so is Marin Haile Selassie, who continues on here, and Kazan has to sting him. Mamba going back for Gutman, who's around Almiron. Gutman scuffed by Kuipers, who is in position. Inside of 5 minutes left. Pouring on forward, Glasgow, who leaves it! Kwame! Carved it through the heart of the five strike! To a 2-1 lead in the 86th! Elliott scraps, Cobb across, off the stick! Fans calling for the whistle. Schleich in, goal leaps, goal grabs! And it's full time at Soldier Field, where the Chicago Fire have their first home win of 2025. Let's
Oh my God, man, that's it. That's it, baby. Well done, Jeff.
After Atlanta had tied it with an own goal, the 6-game winless run comes to an end. 2-1 the final.
We talked about it being a squad week, right? The importance of a squad week, and think about the difference the solutions made in this game today, right? Romy came in, Mari came in, Amari came in, did a fantastic job. Omar came in to help seal the victory, right? And we knew that was going to be the case. Think about this week, how we used all the different players in this group to get the results we wanted, right? A tie, 2 wins. So a really good end to a good week, especially coming off Nashville where we regrouped and had to get together. You guys really set a good tone. Really good job, okay? This game ball goes to the guy who scored the first pen and also worked his ass off the whole game. It's not for just the goal, it's for how you work, man. Well done.
Proud of you guys. I think, like the coach said, today was about doing it together, and we did. We got the goal against, but we didn't back down, and I'm really happy that we got a win after those difficult couple weeks.
Coming up, they always say stay ready, but what does it feel like when your number actually gets called? I sit down with goalkeeper Jeff Gall to talk about his first MLS start and the big win at home. More Inside the Fire right after this. Welcome back to Inside the Fire. So check it out. Here's how it went down. Chris Brady gets a red card against Orlando City SC just before halftime. And not only does it take him out of the match, but it leaves the Fire without their starting keeper for the next fixture too. Enter Jeff Gall, making his MLS debut at home with everything on the line. And what does my guy do? Keeps a clean sheet, locks in the Fire's first home victory of the season. So I get the chance to sit down with him, talk about the moment, what went through his mind, and what it really means to stay ready.
All right, Fire fans, as of late, we've been excited. Why? Because things have been going good, particularly because of this guy right here. We get the opportunity to pick his brain a little bit and figure out what his mind has been like since the Chicago Fire took down the Atlanta United. Of course, I'm talking about Jeff Gall, man. Thanks for hanging with me. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you having me here.
Schleich in, goal leaps, goal grabs, and it's full time at Soldier Field. Let's go.
Before we even get into the games, that's gonna be a big chunk of it. I want to talk about, your journey from Sweden, to the MLS. Like biggest differences you've seen so far in the last couple of years, since being on this side.
No, for sure. I mean, it's like I was in Sweden, went there when I was 22 years old. So, at that time, as a goalkeeper, kind of a young age to, test your wings a little bit, leave family behind and, really chasing the dream. So yeah, I mean, I spent 8 years over there, had a really good experience. But it came to a point where I was just like, look, I would really like to experience what it's like in the MLS if I had the chance. And when Chicago called, I mean, real tough to say no to your hometown. So yeah, going on year 3 now, and everything's been great, man.
Yeah.
Really good.
I think we all feel that way, having you here, understanding, what it takes to play on this level and to be a professional, right, at this level, and wherever you're necessarily playing at. But, you step into the Chicago Fire as a backup goalkeeper, right? And, we hear the nuanced phrase often, always be ready. Right, but in your profession, it really is that. What is that like? The life of that goalkeeper, where you might not see the pitch again for a couple of months.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, of course, it's not the easiest of jobs. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say like, oh yeah, just throw on your gloves. You're ready for that moment. But no, I mean, I think obviously Zach, Joe, the rest of the coaching staff, they've really made sure that I was ready for a moment, if anything were to happen, and it's like last week to, get tossed in there, what was it, 40 minutes in, just like, especially to make my debut too. So that was just like another heightened, like, wow, like it's really happening now. So yeah, I mean, it's just like really just making sure, taking every day like you're a starter, just to make sure that when that time comes, when your name is called, you can hop in there and obviously help the team any way you can. And I was super excited to finally do that.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, right, your name was called in the 40th minute, and it was like, oh, here it is. So again, you hear the nuanced phrase, but in that moment, when you see Brady get the red card, is it just like you're a part of the game and you're there already, so it's no big deal to you, or what's that like for you?
Yeah, a little bit of that, but in that moment too, I was just like, it was like kind of like I blacked out a little bit, I was just like, all right, here we go, like, time to strap up the gloves and like show yourself, So yeah, I mean, it was a whirlwind of emotions, but at the same time, it's just trying to like really block out all the outside noise and, just really focus on yourself. And I've been doing this for so many years now. So yeah, just trying to make it as easy as possible for myself to, step in there and really focus in and help the team out.
All right, so then let's go Atlanta United, right? Chicago Fire fans craving for a victory at home, a little bit of added pressure, not only that you're gonna be starting there. What's preparation like heading into that match?
Yeah, obviously we had the goal of, being undefeated this week. And obviously when you step onto the field, the main goal is to get 3 points. And obviously, it's a tough one for us as well. We haven't been fortunate to do that at home yet. So, obviously we want to give our fans, something to be happy about, to continue to cheer us on. So yeah, I mean, going into that week, it was really good. We really put our heads down, went to work, and I'm really happy with the result.
In the moment, Fire up 1-0, feeling good, everything's going our way. Then all of a sudden the cross comes in. You look like you were prepared for it. Took the step up, Elliott gets the head on it, and then little did you know, Sam Rogers would be the first guy putting in the ball in the back of the net.
So unlucky, man. It is what it is, but I'm more happy about how he responded from that. Of course, 1-1 late in the game, giving up that goal, it could bring any team down. But I think from that moment on, we really lifted ourselves and wanted that 3 points, and we got it.
Talk to me about moving forward, right? You do have a lot of experience. You have been around in these moments and seen different things, but there's an opportunity because we look at you in a certain way where you see Chris Brady in goal. What has that been like for you, knowing that you have someone that's younger than you playing the position, but you also want to instill some of your values in them?
For sure. I think it's super cool. I think the relationship that we have has been great. Obviously he's much younger than myself, but from a young age he's been able to really step into the professional game and do well. So, and for me it's like I'm happy to be like a building block for him, to just be there and offer some advice when needed. So yeah, I think from that standpoint it's been going really good. And obviously I show up to work every single day. I'm pushing him, but I'm also pushing myself. So I think if we continue that way, like good things to come.
Yeah, not only for the goalkeepers, but also the team itself.
For sure.
Right, it's a long journey, this entire season. So when you're looking at it, where you guys are at right now and where you want to be. Talk to me about that journey of this team, right? Because it seems like a lot of glue guys are here, a lot of people coming together. Greg has people playing and locked in on the same page.
Right.
Talk to me about what the future holds for this team.
It's a group of guys who really are focused and dedicated to be better and help the team out. So, I feel like we're on the right path right now. So yeah.
You can see it.
For sure.
You can see it, with each one of the players, with each one of the coaches. And this team is, for me, in my eyes, definitely destined for some great things, and I'm glad that you're a part of it, man. So,
I appreciate it.
Guys, this is the man himself, been holding it down for the last couple of weeks, but he's gonna be holding it down all season long. We hope you guys are doing it too. All right, Jeff Gall, Gabe Ramirez, Vamos Fire.
Man, big shout out to Jeff. You love seeing a guy stay ready, step up, and truly just make the most of the moment, right? But honestly, there wasn't any time to celebrate. The Fire had to turn around, hit the road, and head down to Charlotte.
Match day 14, and welcome one and all to Bank of America Stadium. And in recent weeks, Charlotte's campaign has been relatively obtuse, with wins hard to come by. And after enjoying victory last week, today Chicago expect to endure what has quickly become one of the biggest and loudest Eastern hurdles.
It's a perfect evening to play football. Again, match that intensity is. Do not get bullied tonight. We're going to win this game. Let's go, boys. Come on now. Win our brief. 1, 2, 3, play.
Bamba now for Chicago Fire. Can they find a way through here? Bamba, let's fly. Oh! Jonathan Bamba with the goal. His second in Chicago Fire colours. And amongst the sea of silence, Chicago Fire celebrates. In swinging ball. Cleared away towards the cusp. Gutierrez, goal! Brian Gutierrez continues the trend on the road. Chicago are ruthless on the road. Gutman, Zinchenko, it's 3! Chicago Fire are running riot. A third goal sees them sustain superiority in the backyard of Charlotte FC. Blue now once again as Chicago press forwards. Gutman down under the challenge. Referee gives the penalty. The home fans cannot believe it. Gutierrez with the chance. Gutierrez with the goal. It's 4 for Chicago. And it might be the nail in the coffin here. Gutierrez takes centre stage again. And they've come to a place where so few have, and they've won in convincing style. They've beaten Charlotte by 4 goals to 1 in perhaps one of the most eyebrow-raising scorelines of matchday 14 in Major League Soccer.
Now that is how you start a road trip, gentlemen. Bamba with the beautiful strike, Guti with the brace, and you can check my Twitter. I call Zinchenko's goal in the second half. Man, this team is rolling, right? 3 straight wins, 10 goals in the last 3 matches. It is obvious that Coach Berhalter has these guys playing as clean as his shoe game. All right, that is a wrap for Inside the Fire, and this team is finding its rhythm and climbing up the table, so there's no doubt Soldier Field is gonna feel different the next time the men in red take the pitch. So we hope to see you there in an upcoming match this summer. All right, thanks for watching. I am Gabe Ramirez, y como siempre, like always, Vamos Fire.